again.
Naomi. They made me. Tell them your schedule. I'm sorry.
The night Naomi Cole's entire life snapped in half began with the sound of breaking glass. She was locking up the small community center in downtown Atlanta, her keys jingling in the humid night air, when the window exploded inward. A man tumbled through, not a stranger. Recognition hit her like ice water. Mr. Chin. The quiet janitor who always smiled at her during his evening shifts. Now he was bleeding, stumbling toward her with terror carved into his face. Naomi, he gasped, clutching his side. They made me. Tell them your schedule. I'm sorry. She lunged forward to help him, but a hooded figure yanked him backward into the darkness. Mr. Chen's scream cut short. A second man emerged from the shadows, gun raised, barrel pointed directly at her chest. Naomi's breath vanished. The screech of tires tore through the alley. A sleek black car drifted around the corner like a phantom, headlights flooding the scene. The passenger door burst open before the vehicle fully stopped, and a man stepped out with the kind of precision that made trained killers hesitate. Tall, sharp-featured, black undercut hair catching the streetlight. Eyes that scanned danger the way most people check their phones, casually, efficiently, like he'd done it 1,000 times before. Park Do-hyun. The last person she ever expected to see again. Get behind me, he ordered, his voice low and controlled, the kind of voice that didn't ask twice. Naomi's pulse stuttered. 15 years collapsed into a single breath. Laughter in dusty hallways, letters written in 3 languages, promises whispered under Georgia stars. Promises he broke when he vanished without explanation, leaving her to mourn someone who wasn't dead. She stumbled behind him anyway, instinct overriding fury. The hooded men lunged. Do-hyun moved first. He caught the first attacker's wrist mid-slash, twisting until bone cracked with a sound that made Naomi's stomach lurch. He ducked the second blade, drove his elbow into another man's jaw, and swept the third's legs with surgical precision. It was too fast, too controlled, too practiced. Within seconds, the attackers were fleeing into the street, dragging their injured comrade and leaving Mr. Chen crumpled in the alley. Do-hyun didn't chase. He watched them disappear, jaw tight, chest rising with measured restraint. Only when the street fell silent did he turn to her. Are you hurt? Naomi forced herself to breathe. What are you doing here? Saving your life. No, her voice shook. How did you even know I'd be here? His expression flickered, something like regret, quickly buried. I've been tracking them for 3 days. They've been watching you for longer. The words hit her like a physical blow. Watching me? Why? Because they think you're leverage. He stepped closer, and she caught the scent of expensive cologne and cold night air. Against me. She backed away, anger finally surfacing. I don't even know you anymore. You left. You disappeared without a word, and I thought... Her voice cracked. I thought you were dead, Park. He flinched at the use of his surname. I know I owe you the truth. You owe me? She laughed bitterly. You owe me 15 years. The sound of sirens cut through the night. Do-hyun tensed immediately, scanning the street. We need to leave. Now. I'm not going anywhere with you. Naomi. His voice dropped. The man they just killed was a message. They wanted you to know you're not safe anywhere, not even around people you trust. She glanced at Mr. Chen's body and felt bile rise in her throat. Who are you? Someone who made a lot of enemies. He moved toward the car. And someone who won't let you die for my mistakes. Before she could argue, a bullet shattered the window beside her head. Do-hyun grabbed her waist and pulled her down as a second shot ricocheted off the brick wall. She screamed as he shielded her body with his, dragging her toward the car. He shoved her into the passenger seat and slid behind the wheel in one fluid motion. The engine roared to life. They shot out of the alley, tires screeching against asphalt. Naomi clung to the seat as Do-hyun maneuvered through traffic with terrifying precision. Headlights blurred. Horns blared. Her heart hammered so hard she thought it might crack her ribs. After several sharp turns, Do-hyun pulled into an underground parking garage. The thick concrete pillars swallowed the city noise above them. He killed the engine. For a moment, the only sound was their breathing, hers ragged, his controlled. Start talking, Naomi said, pressing a trembling hand to her forehead. All of it. Do-hyun stared straight ahead. My family runs one of the largest chaebols in Korea. Beneath the company, there's another empire. One built on agreements most governments pretend don't exist. You're telling me you're Mafia. I'm telling you I was supposed to be. He finally looked at her. 15 years ago, my father discovered how close we'd become. To him, you were a distraction. A weakness. He said if I didn't disappear from your life, he'd make sure you never became a problem. Naomi's breath caught. He threatened to kill me? He promised to. Do-hyun's knuckles whitened against the steering wheel. So I left. I cut every connection. Because losing you hurt less than burying you. Tears burned behind her eyes. All these years she believed he simply stopped caring. Why now? She whispered. Why come back? Someone saw us. His jaw tightened. 3 weeks ago, I was in Atlanta for business. You walked past me outside a coffee shop. You didn't notice, but someone in my security detail did. They reported it. And now the board thinks you're leverage they can use to control me. Control you how? He hesitated. Then he pulled a blood-stained envelope from his jacket and placed it in her lap. Because someone inside my family wants me dead. And they think taking you will force me out of hiding. Naomi opened the envelope with shaking hands. Inside was a photograph, Do-hyun walking into a building, red crosshairs drawn over his head. Below it, a message in Korean. She didn't need to read the language to understand the threat. The parking garage elevator dinged. Do-hyun's hand moved to the gun holster beneath his jacket. Naomi hadn't even noticed he was armed. A shadow moved behind the frosted elevator doors. They slid open. A man stepped out, taller than Do-hyun, heavier build, navy suit tailored to intimidation. His sharp eyes scanned the garage before settling on them with unsettling amusement. "Little brother," he said smoothly. "Running away again?" Do-hyun didn't relax. "What do you want, Junho?" Park Junho stepped closer, shoes echoing ominously against concrete. "Father sent me to bring you home." His gaze slid to Naomi. "And I see you've brought the reason you left in the first place." Naomi straightened despite her fear. "Who are you?" "The son who stayed," Junho replied. "The one who carried the weight Do-hyun abandoned." He smiled without warmth. "I'm the heir now. Which makes this situation complicated." Do-hyun moved slightly in front of Naomi. "If you're here to threaten her, relax." Junho raised his hands. "I'm not your enemy tonight." His expression shifted, something genuine breaking through the arrogance. "I came to warn you. Someone on the board ordered the hit. Someone who thinks you're coming back to reclaim your position." "Who?" Do-hyun demanded. "That's what you need to figure out." Junho pressed the elevator button. "But Do-hyun? They already know where she lives. They know her routines. They know she volunteers at that community center every Tuesday and Thursday." He paused. "If you want her to survive the week, stop being sentimental and start being strategic." The elevator doors closed on his knowing smile. Silence crashed down around them. Naomi spoke first. "Your brother seems nice." Do-hyun almost smiled. "Almost. He's complicated." "Complicated how?" "He resents me for leaving. But he's not wrong to." Do-hyun rubbed his temples. "I walked away from everything, the company, the responsibilities, the family burden. Junho had to carry it alone. That doesn't excuse." "I know." He looked at her. "But it means he's not the one trying to kill me. He'd do it himself if he wanted me dead." Naomi wasn't sure if that was comforting or terrifying. Do-hyun guided her toward the elevator. They ascended in tense silence to a penthouse that overlooked the glittering Atlanta skyline. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Minimalist furniture. The kind of wealth that whispered instead of shouted. "You live here?" Naomi asked. "When I'm in the States." He locked the door behind them, engaged 3 separate security systems. "You'll be safe here tonight." "And tomorrow?" He didn't answer. Naomi walked to the windows, staring at the city below. Somewhere down there, people were hunting her. People who knew her schedule, her routines, her weaknesses. "Do-hyun." She turned. "If staying near you makes me a target, maybe I should." "No," the word came out sharp. "If you leave my side, you're an easier target. At least here they have to go through me first." "And if they do?" His eyes darkened. "They won't." A phone buzzed. Do-hyun pulled it from his pocket, and Naomi watched his expression shift from alert to rigid. "What is it?" He turned the screen toward her. A text message from an unknown number. "We have her. If you want Naomi back, come alone." Below it, a photograph. Naomi's apartment. Her bedroom. A woman bound to a chair, face covered, wearing clothes identical to what Naomi had worn yesterday. Her blood turned to ice. "That's not me." "I know." Do-hyun's fingers tightened around the phone. "It's your neighbor. Mrs. Chin. The janitor's wife. The woman who watered Naomi's plants when she traveled." The woman who baked cookies every Sunday and left them outside Naomi's door. Guilt crashed over her. They took her because of me. They took her because they're desperate. Do-hyun typed a response. Where? The reply came instantly. An address on the industrial side of town. Abandoned warehouse district. Classic trap. We're not going, Naomi said firmly. Do-hyun looked at her, surprised. They want you isolated, she continued, her mind racing. The moment you walk in there alone, they'll kill you. Then they'll come for me anyway. She met his eyes. We need a better plan. Something shifted in his expression. Respect, maybe? What are you thinking? They expect you to be emotional. Reckless. She paced, adrenaline sharpening her thoughts. What if we give them what they expect but control the variables? Meaning? Meaning we don't go alone. And we don't go unprepared. She turned. You said your brother isn't your enemy. Can you trust him? Do-hyun hesitated. In this? Maybe. Then call him. Naomi's voice steadied. Tell him we're walking into a trap. See if he's willing to be our backup. Do-hyun studied her for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone and dialed. Junho answered on the second ring. Miss me already? I need your help, Do-hyun said simply. Pause. Then, I'm listening. While Do-hyun explained the situation, Naomi moved to the window and stared at her reflection. She barely recognized herself, hair disheveled, eyes wide with fear and determination. 24 hours ago, she was a community center volunteer worried about grant proposals and summer programs. Now she was planning a counter-ambush against people who killed without hesitation. Do-hyun ended the call. Junho's in. He'll position people around the warehouse perimeter. Can you trust them? They're loyal to him, not the board. Do-hyun moved to a cabinet and pulled out a tactical vest. If this goes wrong. It won't. Naomi. He crossed to her, hands gentle on her shoulders. If something happens to me, Junho will get you out. He gave me his word. Nothing is happening to you, she said firmly. We survived 15 years apart. We can survive one night together. His eyes softened. For a moment he looked like the boy she remembered, vulnerable, hopeful, human. Then he pulled her into his arms and held her like she was the only thing anchoring him to the earth. I'm sorry, he whispered against her hair. For leaving. For every year you spent thinking I didn't care. Naomi's throat tightened. Just promise you won't leave again. I promise. They stayed like that for a breath longer than necessary. Then Do-hyun stepped back, slipping into the cold efficiency she was beginning to recognize as his armor. Let's end this. They took a separate car, bulletproof, Junho's contribution, and drove toward the warehouse district in tense silence. Naomi's heart hammered against her ribs. Do-hyun's jaw was set, hands steady on the wheel. The warehouse loomed ahead, dark and skeletal against the night sky. Do-hyun parked 2 blocks away. He handed Naomi a small earpiece. Junho's team is in position. If I tell you to run, you run. Understand? Do-hyun. Promise me. She took the earpiece. I promise. They approached on foot, shadows swallowing them as they moved between abandoned buildings. Naomi's pulse thundered in her ears. Every instinct screamed at her to turn back. But Mrs. Chin was inside. And Naomi refused to let someone else die because of her. The warehouse door was unlocked. Too easy. Do-hyun went in first, gun drawn. Naomi followed, staying close. The space was vast, empty except for rusted equipment and scattered debris. A single light hung from the center of the ceiling, illuminating a figure tied to a chair. Mrs. Chin. Gagged, terrified but alive. It's a trap, Naomi breathed. I know, Do-hyun murmured. He pressed his earpiece. Junho. Positions? North and south covered, came the reply. East exit has movement. 3 hostiles. Do-hyun scanned the catwalks above. They're waiting for us to get close. Naomi's mind raced. What if we don't? He looked at her. What if we make them come to us? She gestured to the shadows near the entrance. We have cover here. They're expecting you to walk into the light. Do-hyun's lips curved slightly. You're good at this. I'm terrified actually. That makes 2 of us. A voice echoed through the warehouse, smooth, cultured, amplified by speakers hidden in the rafters. Park Do-hyun. Always so predictable. Do-hyun stiffened. Naomi saw recognition flash across his face. Councilman Lee, he called back. I should have known. Should you? The voice dripped with mockery. I've been planning this for years. Waiting for you to resurface. Waiting for the perfect leverage. Let the woman go. Your issue is with me. Oh, but she's so much more valuable than you realize. A figure emerged from the shadows near Mrs. Chen, a man in his 60s, impeccably dressed, radiating authority. You see, the board doesn't just want you dead, Do-hyun. They want your father broken. And what better way than to show him his precious son died trying to save a nobody? Naomi felt rage flare in her chest. I'm right here, you arrogant. Do-hyun grabbed her arm. Don't. Councilman Lee smiled. Ah, the girl has spirit. Pity it won't save her. He raised his hand. Gunfire erupted. But not from Lee. From the catwalks, Junho's people taking down Lee's men with precision strikes. Do-hyun shoved Naomi behind a concrete pillar and returned fire, each shot deliberate and controlled. Chaos exploded around them. Naomi pressed herself against the pillar, ears ringing, heart threatening to burst from her chest. Then she saw it, Lee moving toward Mrs. Chen, gun raised. Do-hyun, she screamed. He turned, aimed, fired. The bullet caught Lee in the shoulder. He staggered, weapon clattering to the floor. Junho's voice crackled through the earpiece. Area secured. Medical en route. Do-hyun lowered his gun, breathing hard. He crossed to Mrs. Chen and cut her restraints. The older woman collapsed against him, sobbing. Naomi rushed over. Mrs. Chen, are you hurt? I'm okay, she gasped. I'm okay. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Junho materialized from the shadows, surveying the scene with satisfaction. Well, he said. That was exciting. Do-hyun shot him a look. Your people? All accounted for. Junho nudged Lee with his shoe. And this one will stand trial. Father's already made the calls. Naomi blinked. Your father? Junho smiled. Turns out the old man still has a soft spot for his wayward son. He's been watching this whole time. Waiting to see if you'd run again. He looked at Do-hyun. You didn't. Do-hyun helped Mrs. Chen to her feet. Get her to the medics. Junho nodded and guided the older woman away. Finally, Do-hyun turned to Naomi. Blood streaked his temple. Exhaustion carved lines into his face. But his eyes were clear. You saved her life, he said quietly. We saved her life. Naomi reached up, fingers trembling as she touched the cut on his forehead. You're hurt. I'm fine. You're not. He caught her hand, held it against his cheek. Naomi, I meant what I said. I'm not leaving again. Good. Her voice broke. Because I'm not letting you. He pulled her close, and this time when he kissed her, it wasn't desperate or stolen. It was a promise, one he intended to keep. Police flooded the warehouse. Paramedics swarmed. Junho handled the authorities with practiced ease while Do-hyun kept Naomi close, his hand never leaving hers. Later, as dawn broke over Atlanta, they stood on the penthouse balcony watching the city wake up. What happens now? Naomi asked. Do-hyun laced his fingers through hers. Now I go back to Korea. Face the board. Claim my place. Her heart sank. So you're leaving? No, he turned to her. I'm asking you to come with me. She stared. To Korea? I have 15 years to make up for. I'm not wasting another day. His thumb traced circles on her palm. Unless you'd rather I stay here and open a coffee shop or something. Despite everything, she laughed. You'd be terrible at customer service. Probably. He smiled, genuine, unguarded. So, will you come? Naomi looked at the city below, then back at the man who'd walked through fire to protect her. The boy who'd become someone dangerous and complicated and somehow still hers. Yes, she whispered. I'll come. He kissed her again, softer this time, and somewhere in the distance, Junho's voice called out, Stop being disgustingly romantic and come sign these police statements. They broke apart, laughing. The war wasn't over. The board would fight. His father would test them. The dangers of his world still lurked in every shadow. But for the first time in 15 years, Naomi Cole felt like she was exactly where she belonged. And Park Do-hyun finally looked like a man who'd found his way home. If you love this story and want more captivating tales that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to subscribe to Addicted to Stories, hit that like button, and drop a comment telling us what you thought of Naomi and Do-hyun's journey. Your support helps us bring you more stories that you simply can't stop reading. See you in the next one.